Gentlemen, we gathered here today to relentlessly pump our Bitcoin bags, Pubby and Danish. Good morning and welcome to the Toxic Happy Hour, where we are toxic towards scams that delay the adoption of global sound money. We are back after a couple of weeks. I've been really busy with work. That seems to be becoming a little bit less. I'm glad to be here with my friend Puppy. Popster, what's up? What's going on?
Oh man, like you say, it's just ever since the conference, we've both been going our own ways. We had Jeff Booth on with Greg Foss and Ben Lobb. That's the last time we really had any guests, but so much has been going on since then, hasn't it?
Absolutely. And I just remembered about the scarf. So I'm in California, I'm in Los Angeles, and it is warm. It's summer here. And just wearing this, a very artificial material football jersey is warm enough as it is. And now I got to wear a scarf as well. Dude, I don't know. It's tough. It's been 2 weeks since we did the Canada edition with Ben Lobb, Jeff Booth and Greg Foss. And here we are again, ready to pump the numbers and hopefully pump out many more Toxic Happy Hours going forward. Honestly, so I was thinking coming into this Toxic Happy Hour, I am as unprepared as ever, if not more. And I just, I'm thinking back on where this is how Toxic Happy Hour started, that you and I have been talking about Bitcoin for hours weekly since the bottom of the bear market in 18, since the bottom. And we didn't pick up the phone, call each other with like a set agenda or, I want to, talk about all these topics and be prepared. We call each other up and we have the Bitcoin conversation. And that's what Toxic Happy Hour is. That's where we came from. So I'm sure we'll find something to talk about.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that's changed in the 2 weeks. The difficulty adjustment.
Oh, yeah.
But all the miners coming offline. You never know what you're going to get out of China, truth-wise. But apparently it's looking like they are definitely trying, all the mining's coming offline. They're sort of scrambling now, trying to find new locations around the world. It's tough. These miners, it's not like, they have a lot of contacts around the world to get these shipped, let alone trying to ship them. But what we have is a 28, the highest difficulty adjustment ever, 28%.
Yeah, downwards, right?
Yeah.
So, there's a couple of things to this whole miner migration. And like, first of all, it became a big FUD event. And, people who don't understand Bitcoin, they think that, China is banning Bitcoin mining and Bitcoin in general, and this is bad for Bitcoin because government can stop Bitcoin. No, government cannot stop Bitcoin. So before, the narrative was, it's really bad for Bitcoin that all the mining is centralized in China. And then when it's forced out of China, it's really bad. It's being forced out of China. This is great for Bitcoin. The fact that China now, China is shooting themselves in the foot so bad. This was an opportunity for China to accumulate Bitcoin before and faster than United States, which could help them, implement and support them becoming the biggest economy in the world. They have decided not to do that, which is great, I think. I don't want a totalitarian regime to be the most powerful in the world. I'm not saying U.S. is not, controlled by deep state and democracy is a puppetry. So regarding the miners moving out, I guess to what you said as well, they're scrambling to find places because one thing is having the mining equipment, but to make money in mining, you also need to have access to cheap electricity. And imagine you have 20,000 miners in China, and all of a sudden you got to find another place in the world where you can have access to, very, very cheap, next to free energy to mine with. And also you got to keep the ASICs cool. If they overheat, that costs extra electricity in AC. So, what do you think?
Well, and remember, to fund some of this, they have to probably sell some of the Bitcoin as well. That's some of the selling pressure you see. But hey, time is money, man. Every day they're offline. This is another day less of Bitcoin they're earning.
Yeah. Yeah, you're saying it's less Bitcoin they're earning.
Well, sure, but hey, that's why that difficulty adjustment, man, is so beautiful. Try to get us back down to those 10-minute blocks. Just keep everything humming along, man. We'll get there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So the fees they went up during this period because all of a sudden I think we were mining like at half speed as normal. I think some blocks were like more than an hour in between, but I think average was probably double the normal 10-minute time, so around 20 minutes times. But it doesn't matter really. So short term the fees are higher, but the difficulty adjustment, which is beautiful in the Bitcoin protocol, takes this into account that China has, thanks God for the rest of the world have trying to shut down mining. So it's moving elsewhere, and it's just taking that into account. And now we're doing 10 minutes again, I believe, because it's become easier because we don't have all these Chinese miners. But I guess they'll come on soon, and then once again we'll see the difficulty to go back up. One thing that is very, very important, I mean, the fact that a lot of hashing rate comes up doesn't mean that Bitcoin is not secure. It is years and years ago that Bitcoin surpassed a mining level, a hashing rate level, a computer power level that meant that Bitcoin no longer could be touched, even if all the nation states went together and rented, Google server, Facebook server, Amazon servers, Netflix servers to try and attack. Bitcoin already had so much hashing power years ago that it's like, pretty much absolutely secure against the 51% attacks.
Yeah, I think it just dropped back to 2020 levels. It only dropped back for, let's like saying that Bitcoin wasn't secure last year, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's not talk about football. It is sad to see how. So I shouldn't start. I wish the referees wouldn't call penalties that weren't there. But anyways, I shouldn't go into that. It goes both ways, and once the game is over, you got to move on, even if it's been unfair. But if we want to talk about football, I want to just once again highlight that my club in Denmark, Brøndby, won the championship for the first time in forever, since 2005, and I'll be focusing on that from now on. We have this is actually the best year ever, I think, to become a Danish champion, because of the Danish club's ranking means we get playoffs to Champions League, like the last two games to Champions League, which is an uphill battle. But if we succeed over two games, we enter Champions League, which is the glorified land with so much money to be made for the clubs. But we are secured a Euro League group stage, which is in itself amazing, both sportsly and money-wise. Anyways, enough about the football, I guess.
Yeah, sorry your team had to crash out there in that manner, man. Obviously, we were all pulling for them. Yeah, so other than that, I don't know, have you been following a lot of the news in Lebanon recently?
Oh, so tell me more about that, because it seems something is really going on down there, and obviously mainstream media is not covering if it's something about dissident and people being unhappy about their governments. Western media only show that if it's the people that are unhappy with governments that they are in conflict with. So there hasn't been coming out a lot of news, I think, about that. Or have I just not been paying attention? Please fill us up.
Well, yeah, the Western news stations, you don't see it too much, but at the end of the day, the people are storming the banks there, lighting them on fire, trying. But here's the problem: since January 1st, 2020, the Lebanese their lira has dropped 86% versus the dollar. 86%. and then and I don't know if you follow Steve Hanke, the economist professor dude. He's always railing against Bitcoin. But I mentioned to him, if they had $1,000, so if a family had $1,000 then and just bought Bitcoin with it, that savings account would be $5,000. It'd be worth 5,000 today, and they would have
Yeah.
access to it.
Yeah.
So it's great seeing what Bitcoin means. In the West, we don't have these problems yet, but when you're talking about Venezuela, Lebanon, Argentina, man, Bitcoin's their savior, man.
Absolutely. Actually, this is a great topic. Thank you for once again taking us in a good direction here, Pubby. But yeah, I just can't wait for the Lebanese to realize that they have a much better alternative, that it's easy to use and it's much better, and that's obviously Bitcoin, which already now is ready to scale to take on countries in terms of capacity and infrastructure. So, I mean, in El Salvador, we are, they're implementing already. It's been put into legislation that Bitcoin will be legal tender. I don't know how many days are left before it's enforced, like 70 days or something. But a couple of months, less than 3 for sure. But I want to see people around the world who also need a sound money that is not being, where the value isn't being stolen by the central banks. I want to see the knowledge of that spread around the world to places like Lebanon, where they are raiding banks and burning banks, I think, and because there's an alternative they can use, and they can use it amongst them. Bitcoin is peer-to-peer sound money that is not being value diluted, and somebody get the message to them. I don't know how. I don't understand why it's not already spreading like wildfire, Bitcoin in places like Lebanon. What do you think?
Yeah, hey, I'm not sure what kind of access they have to exchanges, how they get onboarded just to get Bitcoin. The cool thing for everyone in El Salvador is that Strike took the lead there, and it was so easy for them to, Strike is that perfect ramp between fiat and Bitcoin. Take the fiat, put it on over Bitcoin and Lightning rails. That for them, they already have a circular economy. They don't even need a bank. They have, they get a remittance payment. Okay, they get a remittance payment from the U.S. They don't even need a bank. It goes to their Strike account, and they've already, all the businesses down there are starting to use it. Even, you can go buy a pupusa. You get all the local vendors are all using Strike, and so for their. Obviously, Strike isn't in Lebanon yet. I mean, heck, I don't even, they're not even in, they're still trying to come to Europe. But until they
That's going to happen soon. It's going to happen soon. That's what they say. Malice says real soon they'll launch in Europe. And I hope my mother can download it soon because sending money back and forth through banks not only takes time, we're caught on the interest rate, the exchange rate, and I have to pay $15 in my bank account to receive something which is automatic, which is just a digital transfer of funds from Denmark. It's we're being financially raped by the current system, and so I can't wait for that to happen.
Yeah, it's just exciting to see just real world applications coming out of this. When you're shooting this value across the world to the people that need it most, and you're saving them 25-30% in remittance fees, I mean, that's a life changer, man.
It is. Oh, and so I listened to Peter McCormack's podcast, what Bitcoin did, and I know people have differing opinions on Peter, but I gotta tell you, the last couple of months, there's been so much great content coming out on Peter McCormack's channel in his interviews with different people. A lot of it on El Salvador, and then I'm sure you heard of Lord Fusita, and knowing that you're a bit of a Spaces whore, Twitter Spaces whore, I'm pretty sure he already follows you and you follow him.
Yeah, of course.
I'm sure you had your own little spaces room on Twitter and everything. So listening to that a podcast, and so he's not the king. He is a lord, and there's several lords, but he does obviously have influence, and he's very pro doing the same for Tonga that is happening in El Salvador. And what's interesting is the same. So I mean, they do have their own currency, but there are also, I guess, to some extent, like dollar and Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar plays a big role. So there's no doubt they would have a lot of benefit. And I think that the percentage of remittances, again, it's another country just like El Salvador that really relies on remittances. I think a very, very high amount of I got to put that on silent. A very, very high amount of their remittances, I think even higher than El Salvador, is taken by the fees from Western Union and the like. So, and they're so, it's like half of their economy. So that percentage of the economy is even bigger than El Salvador. So it starting to use Bitcoin as money in Tonga, which is a small island kingdom in, I guess you call it Asia Pacific, right? Northeast of Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah.
That will have an even more beneficial impact for their citizens. So it's, and he already knows it, and he's spoken to like the internal political bloc that or clan that he's a member of, and it seems that the ball is rolling, so it's a matter of time, and that's what we need in these countries that have so much benefit. We need them to go from more than one, as I think it's Peter saying that one is a risk, one is a target, two is a gang, and 10 countries is a movement, and we need to move to that ASAP before IMF and military, etc., is moving in and saying, so for some reason there's now all of a sudden an insurgence in El Salvador. President has been taken out. We're going to go in and establish a pro-IMF, a pro-petrodollar regime, and everything is normal here. Nothing to see. That was just local people. So yeah, we need more countries to start embrace, and I think Strike will be helping with that. I believe that already Lord Fusita is in has received an offer of help from Mollers in terms of different aspects, probably technical, etc. So let's get this moving before IMF can send the hangar carriers or the aircraft carriers to incite local dissidents. Back to you. I'm ranting here.
No, you're right, man. Lord Fusita, he's all over spaces, man. In fact, I was talking to him last night as one of the things, but 30 to 40%, fees that they get screwed over for in Tonga, that can be instantly saved by using Strike. And see, here's the great thing with what Strike is doing. Okay, it's the fact that they're using fiat to get people used to this. Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone's using fiat. It's not like in El Salvador where they said you have to accept Bitcoin only or just Bitcoin. What's brilliant about it is this is how you get gradual adoption. Okay, what you have is if I'm going in to buy something, I can choose what I want to use. I can use dollars. I can use Bitcoin. It doesn't matter. Well, guess what? The store owner gets to choose how they receive it now because of Strike. They can receive it in dollars. They can receive it in pesos. They can receive it in Bitcoin. It's up to them. So everyone has the freedom to use whatever they want. Now, eventually, what they're going to notice, as you and I well know, everyone that they're going to save some whatever they're not using, and they save it in Bitcoin. People are going to see all of a sudden, after a halving, how much they're up. Okay, and they're going to notice, wait, all the money I've been saving in my pesos and dollars is nothing. People will then be incentivized to move more and more into Bitcoin. So what Jack Mallers has done, it has really uh, changed things in my mind. Because like, can you imagine how difficult it is if you just tell somebody you have to take Bitcoin? Yeah, and you
Yeah,
and I, it's
yeah,
easy for us, but when
absolutely. That's the
yeah,
genius that they're interconnected at like no loss of exchange rate,
yes,
and merchants can accept one or the other. By law, they have to also be willing to accept a Bitcoin, which is great, and they're making it very easy for them. So they're taking that whole infrastructure headache out of the way and saying, here's the app. You can use this. You can use other apps. It's open market. It's free competition, and they can choose one or the other. And as you're hinting at here, after a while, probably people see that, wait, this one keeps losing value, petrodollar. Why? Because they print 40% more yearly at the moment. And this other one keeps going up in value. Why? Because it's hard capped at 21%. Plus, it has a lot of other benefits. Bitcoin is the people's money. It's the best money the world has ever seen, and therefore it will take over as money of the world. And one Bitcoin will equal 20 million in buying power in a matter of time.
Yeah, Rich had a good point that, yeah, El Salvador is dollarized. I was using a peso example. A better example should have been if I send if I send it overseas, someone can convert it to euro. When Jack did that test to send it, I believe it was over to England, but you can convert between whatever fiat you have and want to use. You can convert it between that, and when you look at it this way, and BTC Sessions has a great tutorial on this. All they need down there, they have their Strike app, and then you get the Moon wallet, for example, right? No, you have or Blue wallet, and
Blue wallet,
and
yeah.
you just send your dollar from Strike, and you can put it just on because Moon. I think Blue does the same, where they each have you have your on-chain wallet and you have your Lightning wallet, so you could have your money just your hardcore savings on keep it on chain,
Yeah.
there, and then keep some on the Lightning network. But those two apps, and people have become their own bank overnight. It's beautiful.
Yeah. It really is. It's and that, I mean, Bitcoin is just, it's almost too good to be true. I can't believe we're this lucky that we get to watch something that is such an historic event, one money taking over from another, which is Bitcoin taking over from dirty fiat currency, which is not even money, because money can store value if you look it up in the dictionary. But fiat took over from gold at gunpoint, and now Bitcoin, because it's decentralized, it can't be shut down. And we are getting to watch one new money take over from another, which hasn't happened since gold took over 4,000 or 5,000 years ago. First time specifically gold was put in circulation was a king in Lydia, which is in today Western Turkey. That's 700 BC, where for the first time ever gold coins were put into circulation as money in the economy. Before that, of course, it had the collectors value, and gold was valuable, but they just didn't make it small units yet, so people could use it. So not only do we get to watch that, we also get to watch a money takeover that is taking this power away from central banks and deep state, and politicians that with a fiat currency don't need to ask permission to go to war and kill a million people somewhere else because they want oil and make up stories about weapons of mass destructions. So governments can do that with fiat currency because they can just print more. They don't need to ask permission. In fact, they have convinced pretty much entire humanity that it's good for you that your values lose value, that we do inflation, we print more, so they can go do what they want as governments. But now we're getting a sound money, and it's just too good to be true. Not only will it make the world a much more peaceful place, it also gives, it will lift people at the bottom of society up. So everyone has a chance. Even the fisherman in El Salvador has a chance to actually save up for a retirement and financial independence, everyone will have that chance. It's just poetic. Bitcoin is just financial poetry.
Yeah, it's and this is a good segue when you're talking about the control factor, and this is part of the reason, you know, China it finally is cutting down on the mining. Is they need to push their digital yuan, their CBDC, man. They're going to push this so hard on people, and this is going to. You want to talk about evil, man? Because you know they have like a lot of social credit type ratings in China. You know, you got facial recognition, all of this. Well, guess what? With the CBDC, man, they track 100% of where your money's going 100% of the time. They can control it. They can shut it down. They can just remove it. And guess what? You don't do something they like. Sorry, you don't. You're going to get fined for this. You're going to lose pay for that. Or imagine if there's some sort of store owner or there's a group they don't like. All of a sudden, they're labeled a quote unquote domestic terrorist of some sort. And guess what?
Yeah.
You can't be, and you shut down all payments. You're not able to buy anything from them. Those CBDCs, man, I mean, that is evil stuff in my mind. And you need Bitcoin just to stay out of that realm.
Yeah, and the thing is, the CBDCs, the central bank digital currencies, it will never succeed because already the fiat currencies are digitized, and people think that just because central banks start throwing a word like blockchain on their currency, that it makes them able to compete with Bitcoin. They forget the whole idea, the whole point of a blockchain is so that you can't print more, you can't roll back payments, you can't censor political opponents. It's doomed to fail. Like it's a joke. I mean, if somebody says, "Hey, but what about CBDCs? Aren't they going to be a threat to Bitcoin?" Then ask them, so what is going to be different in the CBDC than the current digital dollar, digital euro, etc.? And they don't. There is no difference. I mean, yeah, they maybe want to put it on a blockchain, but they don't want to use any of the advantages of the blockchain. They want to print more. They want to censor your payments. They don't want you to. It's a joke. Hey, we have MG Smith 4 here in the chat as well. We've had many good people in the chat. Sorry, we haven't really called out anyone, but we both met MG Smith 4 in Miami. Yellow, obviously, that we can't wait to have back on Twitter. Free Yellow. BTC Moon Guy, who was the first and the only person in the chat the first 3-4 shows when we started August last year or something. BTC Pins down from OC that hopefully I meet again. I met him at Andrew's place. Now I mix it. What? Andrew's, Jesus, what's Andrew's family name, man? Edstrom, Andy Edstrom.
Oh, Andy Edstrom.
Yeah. And Brian Harrington is there also down from OC. He's very active with the Bitcoin community, creating that. Big Sean Harris. He probably left again from the chat. He pops in for 10 seconds, then he's out. We know him. Who else? Yeah. Oh, Uves. I didn't see Uves was here. Is Uves here? So yeah, Uber, shout out to you. Thank you for sending both Puppy and I a tip after the last show. We appreciate it. Yeah, Edstrom, there it is. Now this could be Andy Edstrom. I know your name. God damn it. Anyways, yeah, Uves. Thanks for that. And I mean, it's not needed, but of course we much appreciate it, and we'll promise to buy beers with that money. And the strike addresses for that type is down below. But I put yours as well there now, Puppy. Before I used that like mine as ours, but
no, that's not.
Now both are there.
No, it was cool, man, because yeah, Uvis, man, shout out. Brother, yeah, I woke up one morning. I had a notification from Strike. I said, "What's going on here?" Because I hadn't been using it much, and there's $3 or something from Movement saying, "Hey, great show," which is cool. Yeah, that goes straight to the beer fund. So
No. It went straight to the beer fund,
yeah,
and it's gone.
directly. Um, no, well, one, yeah, BTC Pins is also down there. If you guys haven't been, check out BTC Pins. Uh, Stickers, pins, other accessories. You got a lot of cool Bitcoin stuff. I was going to ask who was the hat guy that you were talking to, who did the BTC hat for you?
Oh yeah, I'm dying to. Okay, so the short story. So I think his handle is at BTC Hats. I can just search on. Let me just BTC. Let me search BTC Hats and
Yeah,
let me.
because I may be looking to get a hat here soon or a visor of some sort.
Yeah, you want so it's BT at BTC Hats, so wait, really? How come this can't be? How come he only has 37 followers? This must be no. It's got to be another account. But anyways, short story is I started my Bitcoin meetup in Los Angeles in 2017. The very same day as the UASF happened, the subfork where B-Trash was created and Bitcoin, stayed strong. Basically, it showed the powers of HODL. That was a very, very exciting time. But so in that meetup, a friend of mine, Brett, he gifted me this hat. It's olive green Bitcoin hat. I've worn that a lot. But it's possible to get it in black as well. And now I really want to find that his handles so we can.
BTC Pins just put it in there.
Is it no Bitcoin? Let me check that out because he's got some cool hats. I don't know if he has visors.
Yeah, I was just curious.
What was it? BTC
at no
Bitcoin. No Bitcoin. Let me just check. At no Bitcoin.
Yep, that's it. And it says Bitcoin hat guy. That's it.
Oh yeah. So So that's it.
Cool.
How come I'm not following him? What's going on here? Anyway, and we'll give him this shout out. His URL is bitcoinhatguide.com. And actually, now we will shill his products any day without getting paid, but wouldn't mind having him as a sponsor, basically because I want to get this in black. And also I want to get, let me just, he has also a black cap, I think where the logo is also black, so it's more like incognito, and with a flat, what's it called? Sun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
English is only my second language. You gotta go easy on the guy.
Hey, how about this one? Because it's pretty cool how you can get things monetized. I listened to None Your Business. Dave Bennett at Ben.
Yeah.
Okay.
None Your Business. We had him on last year.
Yeah. We gotta have him back. He does it. He's a one-man show, man. He runs down the news of the day for you and everything. But check out this setup for him. So of course he does things where that podcast goes on all different forums, okay, and platforms. Apparently, he's got one now. He can stream. You can stream his podcast through the Breeze wallet. I don't know if you've heard of Breeze. BREEZ.
I heard of Breeze, and I believe I have downloaded it. I don't have any funds on it because I didn't. I need to familiarize myself a little bit more. Go ahead.
Yeah, so you can listen to his podcast through the Breeze wallet and stream him sats as you wish for listening. So you could say, I want to send him 10 Satoshis a minute.
See,
how wild is that?
Yeah, obviously, Puppy. That's what we got to do. If we got to start doing this for streaming sets so we can pay the bar tabs, man.
Yeah, yeah. We'll have to do 4-hour shows then.
Yeah, no, we'll just go nonstop, man. I'm just out here getting some more coffee. Ran out, but I'm here.
Yeah. So that's going to be obviously the future of podcasts. You think of the bigger guys out there, not only sponsors, or some that don't have sponsors. You just got quality content. You just stream sats.
Look, it's the way get some kind of compensation, but without having sponsors that you actually don't agree with their message, right? I told you from the beginning, I'm totally fine. And here we are 1 year later, we don't have any sponsors, but that because we just haven't focused on it. But anyways, so it's the way of doing podcasts where you can stay absolutely, I guess, true, and you don't need to shill any, products or services that also contain things that you don't like, So I like it. I mean, and we should totally try that. But since we're both boomers, almost, I doubt that's ever going to happen, and we're just going to continue to do this and run it at a depth. Who cares, man?
Yeah, I just thought it's really interesting and can see so many uses moving forward. Imagine having a special whatever where advertisers pay you for reading their advertisements and they stream you satoshis as you're looking at their advertisement. You see?
Oh, where's this happening?
Oh, I don't know. I'm thinking down the road of cool ways to use the streaming apps where you're a consumer, whereas if you watch a movie or you watch a YouTube video, you're streaming sats to them. But guess what? You're also able to gain sats, by reading advertisements, for example, doing things like that. Or So I just think it's a fascinating concept.
Yeah. Look, there's no doubt we should. I think Matt Odell and Mario Bent, they also stream on Sphinx Chat. Apparently, it's supposed to be really cool. Also, just to use it as an open source, privacy oriented chat software instead of using, let's say, Twitter DMs, right? For you and I, it's just that technical hurdle we have to pass at some stage, which probably means it's never going to happen. But by the way, so I know you've been really learning from BTC Sessions tutorials lately on Lightning Network, and I for one, I'm curious to hear your main takeaways of that.
Oh, look, man. I've been just on chain. I never really transfer it. I just buy and hodl, man, as they say. No, just trying to learn more about how peer to peer, how it's related from the base layer versus two people opening channels. How you set the money up front aside and credit each other. It's just interesting stuff. So I'm not an expert by any means, but I'll tell you what, Lightning has really come far very fast, and it's just a cool thing to watch also grow for when it started. And you can I know you want to open channels at some point, right?
No, yeah. So I think that opening channels but not just opening channels, like know what you're doing on Lightning Network to add capacity, put your Bitcoin into the Lightning Network to create capacity in the network so it can handle more transactions and larger, value amounts. It is self-custodial, means which you hold that Bitcoin yourself, but you're given a return, right? So you're not handing over your keys. You're not, and that is just amazing. It's amazing that there is this option where you can actually earn an interest rate on your Bitcoin without ever giving them to anyone, without handing over the control, because it's all in your Lightning Network wallet. And I've been speaking to different people about that, and I want to learn, but I know this is a little bit beyond my current technical abilities. But what a lot of people are saying is get Umbrel. I think it's the website is Get Umbrel, whatever, and it's and that's from Brett Morrison, the guy that gifted me this hat in 2017 at my Bitcoin meetup. He's the one who wrote getumbrel.com. So I think from there you can both run a node and a Lightning network on top of that, and through that somehow start adding capacity and earn a return on your Bitcoin. It maybe not I would love to learn it now, but it's not. I can't have my focus there now. I don't have the time I feel to learn it, but it's something that I think in the future, once Bitcoin has taken over as money of the world, and we would all like to, make a living without touching our little bit of coin we have, and getting a return on Lightning Network in a way where you're actually helping, the infrastructure and capacity of the world's people's money. It's great. It's a win-win-win for everyone.
Yeah, Zaza is in the chat, but I don't know if you saw what he's listing there. Nodal is better than my node, which is better than Umbrel. So there's a lot of options, man. I know there's a lot of options out there putting together. And like I say, BTC Betty, man, I think he's come up on 5 years. I know we're going to try to have him on, not either next week or the week after. But man, he just got so many great tutorials, and he's done one he takes you for even setting up your own node, man. He takes you from all the components you need, how to put it together, get it up and running and spinning. So yeah, it's just a matter of taking the time to teach yourself a way, or follow along in those videos. So
I love what you're saying, and I kind of suspect that this was also the case. Would you say that BDC Sessions has in like all the tutorials necessary for you to start not only being a node runner, a Lightning node runner, but also to start earning an interest on your Satoshis that you're putting into your Lightning network? Does he touch upon that as well? Have you seen any videos on that?
No, I have not. Listen, this isn't to say he doesn't have it out there, but he has so many good videos out. It was cool because he does one for basically every wallet, from Blue Wallet, Moon Wallet. Like I say, he has a tutorial on Strike and how to use it. And what's great about him is, when you're new to this stuff, man, a lot of that stuff, it's like Greek to people. You just don't get it. But with watching him do it on a video, man, it makes everything just so much easier. You're not thinking, did I mess something up? Wait, am I doing this right? Because you can just stop and rewind at every step of the way. Whatever he does, but yeah, he's got anything you can think of, hardware, software related. He's got a tutorial for it.
It's awesome. Look, that's why we did the Canada episode. That was the last episode we did of Toxic Happy Hour. Just a total wild shot trying to push the narrative of Canada being the first G7 country to legalize Bitcoin as legal tender. And we had so we did that with those three, three Canadians, one politician, and two great Bitcoin minds that we all know so well. I mentioned them earlier, but Jeff Booth, Ben Lopp, and Greg Foss, of course. But we spoke about and they agreed to come on. We want to follow up with some of those great Canadian content creators like BDC Sessions, John Vallis, Francis Pollard, and Tahini's, and that's what we are gonna get BDC Sessions on. And let's ask him more about this. The videos, if he's done any videos on this, earning a return on your Bitcoin in a self-custodial way. It'll be a great conversation.
Oh, I think so. We'd have to. I definitely would have to do a little bit more research on it myself, so I know what questions to ask.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, but on the other hand, we know enough. I think that that we know what it is we need, like to understand better, and that is, is that something he's done a tutorial on that we can, we know we can learn to run a node, Lightning network node, but also, hey, enough about that. I spoke about it for a while now, but that is something that's really interesting, and I hope that's something that you and I could learn at one stage. And once we have learned that, we can hopefully help others, also teach others, and all of us doing that. That's the way Bitcoin is incentivized. Anyone looking out really for their self-interest and in general being a good person and trying to help others, are doing something that benefits Bitcoin. Bitcoin has aligned incentives so that if you look out for yourself, you actually help Bitcoin. And that's the only incentive system that really work out in the long run, in my opinion. So if you have the seller interest that you want to get a return in a self-custodial way, you're also helping enabling Bitcoin as the best, fastest payment network in the world by creating that capacity. Anyways, enough about that, I guess. Oh, yeah. So apparently, I was listening to Peter McCormack's interview of Lord Fusita on my podcast software. So I wasn't watching it on YouTube, but apparently he had some medical ointment on his back or something, some cream, so he couldn't wear a shirt. So he was topless. And then Peter McCormack, he threw his shirt. So the two tatted guys, I haven't seen on YouTube, where they're, I guess, without a shirt. And now I think Plan Marcus, who's also in the chat, started to say that when will this become a trend amongst the Bitcoin podcasters? But yeah, I like my Brøndby shirt, Aldrig Alene. I think I'm going to keep it. The only thing I'm doing is I'm holding this in my hand because it's just too hot in Los Angeles to wear the scarf for the scarf bomb. Right?
Yeah, man.
What's your take? Are you? Because I'm not taking mine off. I don't know about you.
No, I'm good. As we're talking about the scarf pump, yeah, I'm looking. There's no pump today right now, man. So yeah, Bitcoin down 5% today. Ethereum down 9%.
Yes.
Dogecoin down to 21 cents, down 9%. Just blood in the streets right now.
Yeah. So yeah, anything caused that? It's so funny, and we gotta get Dr. Bullrun or William Clement III, aka Dr. Bullrun, as I dubbed him, back on Toxic Happy Hour, because we had him agree to do a monthly bull run episode, talk about the anatomy of this bull run, which is to say the least very interesting. We gotta get Will back. Talk about on-chain.
Yeah, he does a lot of his own spaces as well, man. I see him all over there. Him and he and Dylan. I guess Dylan is working with him now.
Dylan?
Yeah, Dylan. I'm trying to find his last name here. Give me 1 second. Shit. Give me 1 second.
That's okay. People know we're amateurs anyway, It's not like we have to be on top of it.
Yeah. No, Dylan Leclerc. That's it. Dylan Leclerc.
Dylan, okay. So
yeah, he does on-chain analytics as well.
Okay. Got it.
And yep.
So here's a fun one from MG Smith 4. I heard Augustin Carstens. Isn't he that fat central banker? That is just, and let's not forget. Yeah, sure, it's not nice calling people fat, but this is an evil central banker that willingly robs people of their savings. So sorry, not sorry. So MG Smith 4 says, I heard Agustin Carsten is going to start his own pro CBDC topless podcast. Yeah, that would be scary. That would be, whoa.
You know, the worst part is, man, these people gaslighting everyone into thinking it's good. They're gaslighting into thinking this is so much better for you. You know, we'll have control of your funds. I don't even know how they say it with a straight face, man.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I hear you. So Gazash turned up in the chat. Gazash, why don't you tell us what's going on? Let's hear the latest from Free Yellow and Strike and Win Europe. We want to hear it.
Yeah, I followed this one. I'm trying to think what their name is, but they're basically every day they're tweeting out. They're going to keep tweeting. They're tweeting at Jack Mallers and Strike. They're going to tweet every day until they get it in France.
Yeah. They want to. Okay. So here's the latest, greatest inside information from Gazash. Europe in 72.5 hours. But since it's Gazash saying it, I would not have faith in that. Can't trust that.
Yeah, where is? Man, I'm trying to find that.
I hope it's true. But yeah, it's gonna have. Look, even many days ago. Okay. I may be making a mistake here, but I'm starting to believe Greg Sash, maybe because I want to launch this. And it's a dirty lie. There you go. It's a dirty lie, but it's gonna happen.
Yeah, there's a Twitter. Okay, yeah, there's a Twitter handle called Strike in France. Okay, and basically they have it pinned there. They're tweeting to Jack Mallers every day until Strike goes live in France. So I don't know how long that's going to take. Yeah, Greg. Yeah,
you gotta love the priorities of Jack Mallers saying, "Hey, it's more important that the people of El Salvador gets our help, both technically and also in terms of like the legal side, where they have been, giving input. There have been advisors to the president in terms of making Bitcoin legal tender. So much more important for humanity and justice. And we need, if the people that need it the most get Bitcoin and start using it, it will spread from there. We don't need necessarily, hey, anyone getting into Bitcoin is good for Bitcoin, but we don't need that, necessarily rich people will help Bitcoin. We need the people that need it and can benefit from it in their lives and finally get a chance to save up money. Once they say, look, we don't touch anything but Bitcoin, and that's a lot of people. How many people in El Salvador? That's spreading. That will spread like wildfire. I mean, we are watching wildfire, really. It just feels like slow-mo because we're right in the middle of it. But Bitcoin is spreading as wildfire. How many people in El Salvador again? Was it 60 million or something?
60 or 6? I'd have to look that one up. Yeah, I don't know if you've got it in front of you.
Sorry, how many?
I thought 6 million, but here, let me look it up. 6 million from Greg Zaj. There we go.
Oh, 6 million, right? Okay, and I think I said 60, so that was a small, just a zero different. However, I said I wasn't sure. Otherwise, I don't say.
Yeah, MG Smith 4 said it best. It's better to Strike launches in Africa and the rest of Latin America. Yeah, look, man. Those are the countries that need it. Those are the countries whose currencies either being dollarized or tied, obviously to the dollar, are just getting hammered right now. They're the countries that need it, man.
Yeah, they are the countries that rely on remittances. Like in Denmark, we don't rely on remittances, right? It's people make their living in Denmark, and that's how the economy works. But in many of these poorer countries, they rely on people going overseas or going out of the country and making a living somewhere else, US or Australia, New Zealand, China, sending money back. And these countries need a remittance where instead of losing 30 to 50% to Western Union in fees, they lose 0%. That's what the world needs. That's what humanity needs, and humanity is getting it as we speak.
Yeah, I think the ones going through the inflation and the hyperinflation so badly that they can't get rid of their currency fast enough. As soon as it hits their wallet and their hands, they got to go buy something, or it loses 10% that day till tomorrow.
Yeah,
5%.
yeah.
And when you see there was a kid from El Salvador on saying, Bitcoin has now incentivized him to save for the first time. Now he's incentivized to save more. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Sorry, I was just answering a question from Gazash. If I'm drinking from Miami, what is NOH, Mark? No, Miami.
Oh, yeah. NOH is I'm not gonna announce it, but one of the accounts here.
Right.
So,
okay. Sorry, but you were saying. Sorry, Pubby, I was slightly distracted here. You were saying just before. I'm sorry.
No, just they're talking to one young kid. He goes, he actually wants to save now. He doesn't have to get rid of a bad currency. He sees now what Bitcoin is worth. Okay, especially the ones that have been doing it since 2020, and for the first time in their lives, if they had $100 they had saved, they now have $500. That they've. I mean, it's truly revolutionary, man. It's cool to see.
It absolutely is. Bitcoin is a revolutionary money because that's small change of the value of people's money going this to the value of people's money going like this up will change the financial outlook amazingly for people, especially at the bottom of society, because they can't benefit from when they print more money, house prices go up, stocks go up. The people that only have money really. That small change, and then you look at compound interest, and as Jeff Booth teaches about how we underestimate what's it called, like a law of exponentials or something, basically exponential growth, how we underestimate that. And that's what's happening if your money increases 3% in year over value, instead of losing 20-30% when they print more. Maybe you don't see it in the consumer price index, but houses are going up, education is going up, and that is because of money printing. I could spend 10 minutes on that, but I'll try not to rant on that. But that all of a sudden, not only will that's what's going to solve overconsumption and abuse of the environment, because all of a sudden the system doesn't incentivize people to go spend, buy, produce, etc. But it'll incentivize people to save and reach financial independence, and people will be able to reach financial independence even at the bottom of society, especially if you can keep your cost of living low and you have money that goes up in value. You throw some of it on the Lightning Network, you get a return. Even if you don't, your money still goes up in value, and it will bring us to a society where instead of just having to spend our money all the time before it loses value, we'll be able to live from the value increase, and that's going to reach so many more people. And I say within 15-20 years, more than 10% of the world's population will be financial independent. It'll probably be much higher, to be honest, because having that money that gives everyone a chance to retire comfortably, it should be a human right, but it's been stolen by central bankers that have convinced people that it's good for you. You can keep your little job working 9 to 5 or even 80 hours a week. It's good for you that we steal the value of your savings by printing more, so you can keep that slaving away job. And people have been buying it. Anyway, back to you, ranting here.
Yeah, I love just watching how it grows organically. And when you got it just starting here in Bitcoin Beach, they always have their circular economy. What's going to be really cool, man, is the cities around there, the little villages and the little towns. Okay, they're going to see that when they start seeing the savings rate grow, okay, of all their neighbors, basically, guess what they're going to want? They're going to clamor for strike. When the neighboring countries sees man, look at the savings rate of the people in El Salvador. Before they never had a bank, and now they have more money than the previous 3 generations of their family had combined that they've been able to save. They're going to want to strike as well, you know. So it's going to be the way it spreads is going to it's just like this is small wildfire, man, and it's going to get burning real soon.
Yeah, it will, and that's why before IMF and the deep state military complex creates an insurgence all of a sudden out of nowhere in El Salvador to overthrow the democratically elected president who wants to improve the livelihood of El Salvadorians without IMF, which offers a system to steal the value of the poor people's savings. Let's hope this spreads so they won't be stopped. So Saddam Hussein, I believe, for instance, I heard that on another podcast. I believe, I can't remember which one this was, but he started selling oil for euro, and guess what? All of a sudden, U.S. is in there. We found weapons of mass destructions. They never found weapons of mass destructions, but guess what? Someone who sells oil for euro will be taken out. Same with Muammar Gaddafi in Libya, the African country with the highest literacy rate. Obviously painted a bad picture of him, and sure, there was bad things as well. I am no expert in Libya, domestic politics by any means, but all I'm saying is that that he wanted to move away from dollar as money and started using gold, and all of a sudden there's local insurgents. There's Arab Spring. He's taken to the desert, beaten up, and we are back to focusing on the dollar.
Yeah, I think we're not naive enough to know Bitcoin isn't going to just come in easily. Those central banks and governments will not go down without a fight, to include what you just said. That was cool. Bukali tweeted out a few days ago, United Fruit Company. I don't know if you saw that one.
No.
A simple tweet, but is basically he's trolling. United Fruit Company that was established in Latin America, basically a CIA front, but it led a coup in Guatemala. The U.S. didn't like who was in charge there, so they used United Fruit Company as a front to lead a coup. And so basically, he's let America know, I understand what you're going to try to do to me here for bringing Bitcoin in.
Yeah, but. I mean, can we avoid it? Can we avoid that they do something to El Salvador? Because even if we know that if something happens, it's because central bankers want to overthrow someone who wants to implement Bitcoin, even though we know that, even though we'll be thousands of people's Bitcoiners screaming that, we'll just be labeled fake news. We'll just be labeled fake news. And mass media's being in bed and owned by the deep staters, push another narrative. It won't be weapons of mass destructions, but I don't know. They'll make another story, and anyone saying that, hey, that's not true, will be fake news, as usual.
Yeah, I always like to say, Bitcoin finds a way, man. Bitcoin always finds a way. If this narrative gets pushed, it'll be another country and another with nothing to lose. And eventually it'll just start taking, hold. And during this time, oh, by the way, you have another halving in less than 3 years now. That's, if there was more of a supply shock in that annual supply, it's inevitable, but they're going to fight it the whole way, man. And I don't know what attack vector comes next. But, because we haven't seen, no one ever thought, though, about, 2 years ago, there was nothing like strike, okay, to get out into the world. You didn't have the Michael Saylor narrative, okay, coming in and buying this. You didn't have a nation state coming in. And no one, they've talked about it, but you don't know how it's going to look. We can predict those things, You just don't know how it's going to look or how that narrative will shift. So basically, buy and hold, buy and hold and wait and see what happens.
Yeah, buy and hold Bitcoin, and not only are you doing something good for yourself, but you're helping humanity when you buy Bitcoin. It's really that simple, because Bitcoin is a money that helps humanity, and the more it gets adopted, the more people who buy it and help the value increase. It helps the people, all of us who's already in Bitcoin, including the people in El Salvador and around the world that wants to use this as a non-government, tool for storing value. Number go up technology. Number go up technology means price of Bitcoin going up because more people get orange pilled and starts buying it. Is drags more people in, and the sooner we will have this sound money, better store of value that doesn't lose value, that increases in value. And even when Bitcoin has taken over fully, it's still going to go up in value as productivity growth happens in society. So the money will continue to become worth more and more and more forever. It really is, as Michael Saylor said, it's going up in value forever, Laura, forever. Forever.
That's how it's designed, man. That's how it's designed, right?
Isn't it beautiful?
Absolutely.
And I have even in I think, yeah, the very first part of the description of this YouTube here, which was put together really, really fast. I rushed home to make it so we could go live. Is Pubby and Danish are here to relentlessly pump their bags. NGU Tech, baby. Yeah, that's the first sentence you'll find down below. And that's why we're here. We're here to spread the word of a better money for humanity and for everyone, which I guess is humanity. Right, brother?
SAS for humanity. Yeah.
Yeah. That's Wook Chewy. Wook Chewy, I wonder, is that JW Weatherman? It wouldn't be, right? That he would call himself JW, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Could be.
I don't think so. Anyways, so there was something. Oh yeah. A non-Bitcoin related thing, but yet again, it is actually Bitcoin related, because Bitcoin is more than just money. It's also, it really is a way of life, and it's a way of thinking, right? Am I right? Bitcoiners, we have a different mindset. We develop a different mindset because all of a sudden it instead of this spend, live now because your money ain't worth anything in the future, it's more about self-preservation. Take care about yourself, think about the future, plan ahead, because we've got money that we can bring with us into the future. Am I right? Are you with me on that?
Yeah. As you know, man, you turn from high time preference to low time preference, and the longer you go, the more convicted you get, and it's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy in a way, and the more people that get involved, the bigger it gets. Yeah, absolutely.
So what? Right. So what I wanted to say is, and you know this other thing, third time is a charm. Everybody knows that one, right?
Right.
So I have a sweet tooth, or had, but I love chocolate, ice cream, Danish pastry, and at the same time, I wanted to shape up a little bit, right? So years ago, one of my best friends in Denmark told me, Anders, sugar is addictive. It's no good for you. Cut out the sugar. That was the first time I heard it. And he did. He stopped eating sugar. He got in shape. And but that was only the first time I heard it. So second time I watched this, I think it was on Netflix. I saw this a documentary. I think it was called Fed Up. about how Michelle Obama started out saying, "Hey, we gotta get our kids in the schools in America to eat, better food instead of all this junk. We got to fill them with nutrition instead of all this sugar crap." And that quickly turned into, and I don't know, how much money changed hands there, but all of a sudden it was the sugar industry ahead of, okay, what kind of advice should we be giving kids? Okay, it started out as let's do something better for the kids. All of a sudden, you have all the sugar producers and the processed food producers of U.S. in charge of this mission from Michelle Obama. Mission. And absolutely reeks of corruption, if you ask me. And then instead of saying no, no more sugar, no more junk food in schools, they changed the narrative to you just gotta burn more than you intake. So keep eating the junk, but you gotta be more active. But obesity has not really been removed as a problem in US. Am I right? And the food industry here is just probably more in bed with the politicians than anywhere else. And that is such a wrong narrative, because it's not only about how many calories you eat. It's, are they good? Do they have nutrition? Are they junk? And unfortunately, so the schools just continue with junk food here in US. I'm not saying it's not elsewhere in the world, but anyways, that's a great documentary. So last time I was in Denmark, a friend of mine, so that was the third time as a charm working for me, he said, Anders, just cut out sugar. If you want to lose weight, just cut out sugar. I'm like, I love chocolate, I love ice cream, I love Danish racetrack. But anyway, so he made me think. So a few weeks later, I stopped eating sugar. It's almost 2 months ago. Started exercising more, and it helps, man, and it makes me feel better. And honestly, it's just a mental thing. It might be physical addiction. Sugar is very physically addictive, but that may be for 2 weeks. After that, it's just in your head. To me, it was like switching a switch and say, I'm done with sugar, and I want to take care of myself. My point is, this is a Bitcoiner way of thinking, that you you think long term. It's long term time preference. Instead of having something sweet that tastes good in my mouth now, I want to feel great about myself 1 year from now, and 20 years from now, etc. So that's just
yeah. There's another one. I'll send you the link to it. There's a documentary called Sugar, The Bitter Truth. Okay. And there's a professor named Robert Lustig, and it's a 90-minute presentation he gives about the history of sugar. Okay, the history of sugar, how it came into play, and this was really in the 1970s. All right, and in the 1970s, they were seeing a spike in heart disease, and they were trying to figure out where it was coming from. And you had two camps. You had there's two doctors in England who were the ones that were saying sugar is the culprit of this. Okay, where the doctors in America were incentivized to not blame sugar. All the companies were, basically paying them. So this guy has the whole history, and it is fascinating because you could see in America, the low-fat craze came out, okay? And that's what...
Yes.
So in the 70s, everything went low-fat, was about calories, and guess what? Everything in the store, because remember, for the companies, it's cheaper to do, okay? It's cheap for them. And what happens when you're eating a lot of sugar? You get hungrier, and you're eating more, and so they're selling more. So I'll send you a link to that. But yeah, if anyone's listening, it's called Sugar, The Bitter Truth. And yeah, it's fascinating. And it took that many years to finally, it's only been in the last, 5 to 6 years, maybe, carnivore comes out, the keto diet comes out, things like this. Although they had I think the Atkins diet for a while was sort of talked to it, but it was a fringe movement. But now, yeah, obviously carnivore diet is so popular with Bitcoiners.
Yeah.
But you're right. That's what they do, man. They'll suppress information that will help you. They'd rather they'd rather hurt you and make money.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's why we gotta think. That's why people gotta learn to think for themselves. We gotta think for ourselves. Be critical. Don't buy what the mass media are telling you. Ask questions.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. Now, I mean, it all makes sense. Like you're talking about the whole low fat movement. But what creates fat? Funny enough, it is sugar is much worse because when you get all that sugar in your body, that turns into fat in a very bad way. But if you don't get all the sugar, if you don't get all the carbs, your body is burning fat all the time, and fat is not as bad for you as sugar, and it doesn't make you as fat as sugar. I know it's counterintuitive maybe, but all the low-fat products, they don't taste as good, and they put other stuff in it, so that is not healthy for you. It's much better if you want mayonnaise, get the mayo. I mean, by the way, that is really bad fat maybe. But if you want some of these products, get the real one. It tastes better. Maybe have a little bit less, and just stop eating sugar. Combine that with being more active. Anyway. So yeah, I start doing push-ups. I do it now every day, and I love it, man. I'm addicted to it. So there was another thing you said that I wanted to touch upon. You say a lot of good things. Let me try and remember. It might come back to me. Yeah. It was something about the food you were saying before. Anyways, I lost that one. I'll get back to it. I just want to say real quick to Satoshi Cat, who was the super cool dude you and I were standing with when we were watching Jack Muller's El Salvador announcement. You, me, and Satoshi Cat had it was a great moment there watching history play out. But Satoshi Cat, we spoke about this earlier. China is shooting themselves in the foot. It was pretty early on in this podcast or YouTube, and their opposition to freedom money is just meaning that they won't accumulate Bitcoin as fast as they should, because it's in their interest. But thanks God we don't have the most totalitarian regime, maybe racking up on the best money ever. Let that be from El Salvador. I'd much rather that El Salvador mines Bitcoin on the slopes of volcanoes than China buying Bitcoin or mining in their backyard.
Yeah, one more. I was just going to reach back real quick on the talk about your diet. The other thing I was going to mention is recently the last 2-3 years has really been the focus on intermittent fasting and fasting. Okay, because what they don't want to tell you is there are many chronic diseases that can be cured when people go on a fast. Okay, if you go on a fast, you cut out the poison being put in your body. Okay, and your body responds. So if you have just your 8-hour window of eating, people start with intermittent fasting and then fast 2 days a week, you'll really see some big change. I should probably do more of the full fasting, but I try to eat only between like 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. or 11 and 5. So I try to do that, and I've noticed
great.
some results. But what they don't want is to tell people you don't have to eat so much or as often, because they got product to sell. And oh, by the way, they also got medications they want to sell you. So they need to keep you in this continual loop of eating more, feeling worse, and then taking meds you don't need.
Agree. And Pubby, I'm happy that so Satoshi Cat here did a chat that made me remember the thing that you said that I totally agree with, and I wanted to comment on how they are putting sugar everywhere. And I remember, I think one of the first times I had pizza here in California, I was like, why does the pizza dough taste like sugar? Why is it sweet? Pizza dough is not meant to be sweet. And pretty much any bread you buy here in US, from what I've seen, it's sweet. They put sugar in it because it's addictive. And also bread already is not good for you. then on top of that, they put sugar in it. Stop with all the sugar. Right now I'm doing between 100 and 200 push-ups a day, man, and drink lots of water. It gets rid of all the poison in your body. It flushes out the bad things.
Yeah, they had so this guy, but I'll send you the link to his presentation. I've also seen him, I don't know if it was on 60 Minutes or something, and they were talking to him about this very thing. And they went to a supermarket, and just going down the bread aisle, like you said, you know how much bread is there. There was only one bread there that didn't have added sugar to it. And it was a special Ezekiel bread that they use. I think like the Seventh-day Advents, I think they use it. But it was, Ezekiel bread was the only bread without added sugar. And you're going down the list, man. Ketchup, high fructose corn syrup, you name it, it has it in there. And what's really cool and what's interesting is some people go way overboard with, cut out potatoes and cut out apples and but he does a good job in breaking down how is the processed sugar and the high fructose corn syrup is processed differently by your body. When you have an apple, he says that natural sugar is you're also getting fiber with that, okay? And it's processed differently in your body, or like a baked potato. It's it's a really cool video, man. I'll send it to you. But overall, like you say, shop the outside of your supermarkets. Meats, vegetables, some dairy. Some people, cut out dairy. Up to you. I started drinking my coffee black, man. I did. I used to be sugar and milk. Once, black coffee. I take some getting used to, but now I remember before I would use Splenda as well. And I remember elsewhere, and I said, you know what, I'm going to just try this again. I put in like one Splenda, and I couldn't drink it. It became too sweet. So you can train your body. Once you go without sugar for a while, then it's just too sweet, and you still avoid it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I remember, I think as a kid, I had sugar in tea, and I felt that was the only way you could drink it, right? Then I stopped with this sugar, and after 2 weeks, it was, when I tried again with sugar, it was just disgusting. That sugar addiction, it only takes, I think, I mean, I'm no doctor, but a few weeks for you to get rid of it. And then you don't like the taste anymore. It's you just got to get yourself through, and you can do that with willpower, a couple of weeks to get rid of the physical addiction, and then you feel much better. I feel much better now, man. I've never not eaten sugar for this long, and I'm planning to continue. I feel great, man. And and this is a Bitcoin podcast. And again, why are we talking about this? Well, because it's about Bitcoin values and doing what's right and taking care of yourself and thinking long term instead of living, in this way of living where we have to get instant gratification. We will have a much better, much longer life when we learn long term, like delayed gratification, which Bitcoin teaches us, and it also teaches us to take better care of ourselves and our loved ones. And that's another thing that I blame Keynesian economics for, is basically it instills this mindset of if we have any problems, the government needs to take care of us. Nanny state, central politicians need to take care of us, because if we have a bump in the economy, they need to stimulate. So we should just be passive, and then someone will take care of us. That's what Keynesian mindset is teaching people. But the better mindset, obviously, is that you are yourself responsible. Yes, we can all, have outside events happening to us, but we need to be responsible ourselves and save up for the future so you can go through those bumps. And I know people will say, but it's really hard to save up money. Yes, it is, because you're using dollars as your currency. You can't save up in that because they print 40% more a year at the moment. That's why we Bitcoin, because then you can save up for a rainy day.
Yeah, and I was going to say, and you talk about the CBDCs and that system of control they will have. Now imagine the future when you're being told where you can spend that money, on what food you can spend that money. They don't want you healthy. So guess what they're going to do to the price of steak, to the price of the food that will actually keep you non-dependent upon them. That's what's going to happen, and they will. They'll say, "Oh, you want a steak? It's going to cost you this much money now." So when people are going to be stuck relying on a UBI, okay, but they're going to tell you when and where you can spend it, man. It's just a evil thought, man. It really is.
Yeah. I love this puppy because before going live today, it was like so like short notice, although we did speak about it for a couple of days ago, but I guess it kind of a little bit slipped my mind. That's on me. Like thinking, oh wait, what actually happened in Bitcoin? Like what is there anything to talk about? And then I just remembered we used to just call each other on the phone, speak for hours, and there's a lot to talk about. There always is. And here we are, just rambling on about Bitcoin and Bitcoin related topics.
Well, yeah, but on that note, I have to start winding up here myself. It's hitting 4 Eastern, but I don't know if you had any final thoughts yourself.
I just want to say I'm so glad I finally met you, Miami. I love you, man. You're my brother, and it's good to see you today. And let's. I told you I would wait collecting that steak dinner bet until Bitcoin is above 100,000, because then we'll all be in a better position.
In a good mood.
So I think whenever we touch 100,000, I'll fly over to. I want to go to Miami again. I want to come over like after hurricane season. It'll probably be like, I don't know, September, October. That's the next time probably I can make it. And I want to go and collect that gourmet dinner, steak dinner with you.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Don't, and Greg Zaj in the chat, you're joining us too. No, so as you know,
he owes me steak as well.
Yeah, he's going. MG Smith 4. Yeah, you got to be fit, healthy, and alive for the 2026 World Cup. Yeah, met him down there. Satoshi Cat, everyone, man. Bitcoin Matrix in the house. Absolutely, man.
Yeah, I just want to say, I want to touch upon what you said about the MG Smith 4. I'll just bring that chat back up, that he's saying that corporate boxes full of plebes. And that's what's going to be. They're going to be full of Bitcoiners in the best seat in the house, but because by that time Bitcoin will be that's going to be in the millions.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll have to meet up somewhere. For one of the Denmark games. Because they'll be they better. Well, they better make the World Cup. They should.
Look, if a referee doesn't steal our trophy during the World Cup after it was stolen yesterday by a fake penalty that was not there. The guy just dove forward. If that doesn't happen next year, we will come back, Denmark, and we'll take the World Cup. Yep. You know what? We already have the Euro Cup from '92. We will come next year. We'll take the World Cup, and you heard it here first. Christian Eriksen hopefully will be back. And but dude, I'm upset because that was our cup this year, man. That was our cup. Anyway, so you got to round. You said you gotta wind up as well, or whatever it's called. So final words from you, brother, and I look forward to see you and Greg Zaj for steak dinner. You guys both owe me because you don't understand the bull run completely, but that's okay.
Yeah. Too many weak hands out there. Got over leveraged, sold off, got greedy. So you know what? The rest of the year is going to play out. It's going to be interesting to watch. If and when, how quickly the miners can come back online. I've heard everything from 12 to 18 months to get back to the full mining capacity that was out previously. But hey, as I always say at the end of the show, go out, stack some sats, and hodl on.
Yeah, absolutely. It may not be financial advice, but when we say stack sats, buy Bitcoin, and HODL, it's a compassionate advice. We want better for you. We want better for humanity. And that's what we do. Yeah, thank you everyone for watching and participating in the chat. I'm so glad that this has moved on from being a conversation with me and my brother and good friend from the other side of the country to being a conversation we're having with more people here. And that's what we're trying to create, us just going to the pub together in here and hanging out and talking Bitcoin, all of us. And on that, as a final note, I just want to say, be careful storing more value in fiat currency than you can afford to lose. It's a built-in policy that they dilute the valuing of your savings, and they even convince you that it's good for you so you can get to keep your little job. No, it's not good for you. It's much better if you have a money that can store value. That's why we need sound money that has a hard cap, which Bitcoin has. It's hard capped at 21 million units. Yeah, consider that as an alternative to the dirty fiat currency Ponzi of the world. Bitcoin is the future. And Pubby, I'm so glad we ran again today, man. Thanks a bunch. And love you, and see you on the next one, man.
Sounds good. Cheers, everybody in the chat, man. Thanks for stopping.